Welcome back to Ace Academics YouTube channel, and it has been a very long time since our last video. Today's video will be on data handling and statistics, and this is the part 1 video for the grade 6 national examinations. I am Miss Jemima Mills, and this year ACE Academics is going to embark on continuing to provide you with top tier services and information through our YouTube channel. At this point, I would like to remind you to like, comment, and subscribe on this video and all of our other videos, and continue to stay tuned to ACE Academics. As I said before, today we'll be doing data handling and statistics, and this actually falls under the Ministry of Education and Human Resource Development of the Commonwealth of Dominica curriculum for grade 6 mathematics. Now, a lot of my parents and students tell me that they did not know that there's a curriculum guide for grade 6 that is available online. So if you're wondering where you can get a copy of this, it's very simple. All you do, you type in grade 6 National Assessment Mathematics Syllabus Dominica into your search bar, and on the screen where you see click here, you click on this. So it's KS2 Mathematics grade 6, and you click on it and you will get the curriculum guide for the grade 6 exam. Now, let me tell you this. Your curriculum guide is the Bible for your examination. I tell this to both my grade 6 students and my C6 students. This is exactly what will be on your exam. They can't give you anything else because this is the guide for the curriculum. Now, it's not only the mathematics curriculum that is available online, there are also other curriculums for language arts, science, social science, and all the rest of the subjects that they do in grade 6. And the first link you see on the screen, which is says curriculum guides, this is where you can get the rest of these curriculums. Now, when you go through the curriculums, you will see that it is divided into terms and strands, and this is actually for the teachers so that they can have a proper guide as to what to do in term 1, term 2, what is covered. And it's divided into sections, statistics, measurements, and so on and so forth. And seeing that we will be doing data handling and statistics today, I went straight into that section, and this is actually what was on my screen. So it showed me in term 2, strand 4, statistics and data handling. And what I did, I used this as a guide for this video. So everything that they say that the students need to know, it's actually in this video. So let's get right into it. So today, what we'll be covering is the introduction so the students can find out what is data handling and statistics, also the importance of data handling, collecting and organizing data. Then we're going to do a little activity, measures of central tendency, and some practice and conclusion. Now, what is the importance of data handling, students? Now, just imagine that you are on a mission to host the best sleepover or the best football game party, and you want to find out how many of your friends like pizza, you want to find out their favorite music, their favorite drinks, their favorite snacks, and you're wondering, but how will I do this? Guess what? Statistical data can actually help you to turn these numbers, how many of your friends like favorite this type of music, this type of pizza, it can help you turn that number into the coolest party ever. And right there, you become the cool kid in school. So are you ready for this math fueled journey? Well, let's get right into it. Now, the importance of data handling, the first one is that it helps you organize your data like a superhero. Now you can sort through the data chaos and make it neat and easy to understand. So whereas you had all these numbers mixed up and you're wondering, how do I organize this? Data handling can actually help you do this. The next thing data handling can help you do is to become a detective. Now, if you have read all these books like Nancy Drew and all these things, you will already know how to solve mysteries. But mysteries in mathematics is a bit different. Data handling can help you solve mysteries like the most popular ice cream flavor or how many students in your class love math. Another thing it can help you to do is that it can provide you with a playbook for success. It can help you plan strategies for sports teams based on past performances. So, what was the average goal score? Which of the players scored the most goals? Data handling can help you do that. So, you see how mathematics can actually be incorporated into your daily lives. Now, the next thing it can help you to do is to be an epic event planner. Now, if you want to become an event planner in the future, or if that you just have a knack for that, you just love to plan events, you love to plan parties, sleepovers, tea parties, data handling can actually help you do that. Now, it can help you know exactly what is needed for the best parties or the best school events. And last but not least, it can be your passport to see superhero success. So obviously you are the best event planners. You know how much pizza to get, how much drinks to get, how much this to get, what's the favorite music of the people coming. Obviously everybody's gonna think, but Ashley's actually cool. She knows exactly what we like. So this is the importance of data handling. Okay, guys? Now, what is the definition for data handling and what will we actually learn in this video today? So today you'll find out the definition. You'll find out that there are different types of data. I will take you through the data handling process. So from the first stage to the last stage, and also the ways in which you can represent your data, as well as central tendency. And we'll do some practice and activities in this video. So if you don't have a paper on you right now, I encourage you to go get a paper, go get your pencil, because we are in it to win it. We're getting those scholarships this year because believe me, I know you have the potential, and this is what I am here to do, to help you realize your potential and help you understand whatever topic that you did not understand in mathematics. All right, so the definition for data handling. Data handling is the process of collecting, organizing, interpreting, and presenting information in a meaningful way. Now, these are all big words, but we are going to break it down. Don't make these big words scare you, okay? Data handling can be represented in a variety of ways, and I'm very sure that you guys have covered this in your past grades like grade 4, grade 5, and I'm sure you know what is a bar graph. I am sure you know what is a pie chart. So, this is how your data can be presented. Now, for you to create that bar graph or that pie chart, obviously you must have data values. And this is where we come to collecting the data, and we'll go through this very shortly. Now, it is important to follow the data handling process intricately in order to have proper representation of your data. Now, if we were to go back to the party that you were hosting, and eight of your friends said that they don't like pizza with pineapples on it, whereas a few of them said that they're allergic to cheese. Just imagine that for that party, all you ordered was cheese pizza because you did not get the data right. Your friends would be upset. I personally, I would leave your party because I told you beforehand that I am allergic to cheese. And here you are bringing only cheese pizza to this party. What do I eat? I mean, come on, right? So you see how important data handling is, guys? Now let's actually get through the process. But before we do this, let's see other ways that you can actually organize your data. Now, you can collect data or information from many sources. For example, from observations or interviews. So, you conduct interviews with your classmates, with people in your community. You can collect data by doing research and using published or publicly available information from books, websites, and so on and so forth. Now, if you want to collect the data, we've been talking a lot about collecting the data, but how do we do this, right? If you want to collect data, you can conduct a survey. You will need a questionnaire and record and organize the results. Now, for you to record these results, you can do this using a tally chart and a frequency table. You can also draw a graph and analyze the data you have collected. Now, I'm actually going to show you how representing your data can be much, much better for whoever is seeing your information. Now, just a while ago, I provided you with a lot of information. I told you about collecting the data, questionnaire, this, that, and you're just hearing words. But I actually want you to see this process, right? And this is the data handling process. The first step of the process is to specify the problem and the plan. What is the problem? What is the plan? The plan is to host the most epic party that my friends will always remember. Now I have a plan. But how can I host this great party? How do I find out what is the favorite music that my friends enjoy? Do they like Afro beats? What do they like, right? Do they like Bouyo? We're from Dominica. Most people like Bouyo, right? Now, for you to do this, you actually need to collect your data. And that is the next step in the data handling process. So you collect data from a variety of sources, and you can go on to do this by using your questionnaire. So you present a questionnaire to all your friends you have invited. You tell them to put their name, so what is their favorite music, what's their favorite pizza, their favorite drinks, do they like soda, and these type of things. So this is where your questionnaire comes into play. So you have your questionnaire has all the questions on it, and what your friends will simply do is that they will answer the information that is on the questionnaire. So, your questionnaire, if you want, you can use Google Forms, or you could simply hand them a paper. Now, with Google Forms, it actually gives you the information one time. So, as soon as your friend press submit, you will get it via your email and you'd see what your friends like. And also with Google Forms, it actually presents the data for you as well. So, it presents it in pie chart form. It will tell you how many of your friends like that pizza or that music. And that way, it can actually be easier for you to understand. Now, the third step in the data handling process is to process and represent your data. And that way, that is where you have your bar graphs, your pie charts, your line graphs, and all the other data representation formats that we have. So, this step is processing and representing your data. Now, the last step is to interpret and discuss your data. And most of you guys already know how to do this, but in part 2 of the video, which will be posted on another day, this is what we will be discussing. How do you properly interpret and discuss your data? Now, just imagine a pie chart, a bar graph, a line graph can actually speak to you. Now it's numbers, and you might be thinking, but how can numbers speak to me? Now your pie chart might be showing a huge section, and this can already show you that this is the amount of people. This is the most popular thing of whatever you might have been researching. So, for example, you ask your friends who likes cheese pizza, who likes pepperoni, who likes supreme, and you saw on your pie chart that there was a huge section for pepperoni pizza. So that can already tell you that your friends love pepperoni pizza, right? So this is how you interpret and you discuss your data. And believe you me, that you might be in grade 6, but this actually follows you for the rest of your life until you reach to Lord knows. And in fifth form, you'll actually see how learning about the data handling process early will help you, right? When you're doing your SBAs and all these other things, your research projects, you're going to see this process in front of you again. So we have talked about the data handling process. We have specified the problem and the plan. We have collected the data from a variety of sources, and we're actually going to go through this shortly. Where can you find data? We have processed and presented or represented the data, and we've also interpreted and discussed the data and evaluated our results. Now let's go into the types of data. Now there are two types of data. There's categorical data and there's numerical data. Categorical data represents categories, for example, colors and types of fruits, whereas numerical data involves numbers and it can be discrete, that is whole numbers, or continuous, that is decimals. So a whole number would be something like number 2, number 1, whereas a decimal would be something like 0.75, 0.85, and so on and so forth. So remember, there are two types of data. There's categorical data and there is numerical data. Okay, students? Now, the next part that we will be learning about is the possible sources for finding data. I have a plan, I have a problem, I have my problem question, I want to do some research. But where can I find data? Now, nowadays, it's so simple. Whereas in my time, we had to walk up the road to go to the library, which is across from the State House in that area that's on Victoria Street. Students now have it a lot more easier. At the snap of your fingers, you can find information on the internet, and almost everything is on the internet. The internet is like a university in itself, right? So you can find information from the internet, but you also need to be very, very careful in doing that because there might be some information that might be fake. I always want my students to not take information from Wikipedia because anybody can put information there. So this is a site. Anytime you see it come up, just close your eyes. Just look over it and keep scrolling. So be very careful. Also look at the date in which that the information was provided. You want up-to-date information. You don't want information from since 1974, 1920. I mean, according to what you are doing, sometimes that information might be helpful, but you want up-to-date information. You can also find data from books. You can find it from the radio, the newspaper, like the Chronicle newspaper. It's only $2 for a newspaper. If you want to find out information, you can go to the Chronicle newspaper office, which is located on Old Street. There's also the Sun newspaper, and you can get information from this, right? Most time our students don't read newspapers, but it is important that you read because reading expands your knowledge. Remember that. And the information that is on that newspaper, sometimes a question may come up in the grade 6 national assessment. So it is important that you read. You can also find out information from people around you, like your elders, experts in specific subjects. So, whatever it is, there is data sources all around you. All you need to do is ask. All you need to do is look, right, students? So we have went through the possible sources for finding data. We know the internet, we have books, we have the radio, we have newspapers, and we also have people around us. But how about the methods for finding data? You can find data by reading, by observing, by asking questions, by researching the internet, by doing surveys. interviews and questionnaires. And we spoke about the questionnaires earlier on. You can hand it out to the persons physically, or you could actually do it online. Nowadays, it's actually more popular to do your questionnaires and your surveys online because the information you get it much quicker. Sometimes when you hand out questionnaires to people physically, what might happen is that they may lose the paper. Sometimes they don't write as well, so you can't even understand what is there. So it is important that we're in the new age, so let's use new age stuff, right? So these are the methods of getting your data. So we've talked about a lot of things, right, students? We've talked about the types of data, we've talked about the methods of finding data, we've talked about what else have we talked about? We've talked about the sources of finding data, right? So let's work that brain muscle and let me see how well you guys can actually find out where what source of data can be used for whatever question it is, and also the method that you guys think is most suitable for collecting the data. So we have here three sets of data. The first one we have is the population of Dominica. The second one is favorite sports team of students in your class. And the third one is supposed to be interest rates. So my apologies for that typographical error. Interest rates of local banks in Dominica on mortgages, right? So I want you to tell me what are the possible sources and also some methods. So right now you're watching this, just think of it. What is the possible sources from the list I gave you before and some methods? What is the most suitable method for collecting that data? So you have the population of Dominica. What do you think, or where do you think you can get information from that? Well, we have the internet, we have reference books, you can get that from the radio. But I think the best place to get this would be on the internet. So you search up what is the population of Dominica. And remember, we're looking for a site that is actually provides the best information or the most accurate information. So you can search on the internet for this one. How about methods? Now, seeing that we are searching on the internet, obviously the method would be browsing the internet, right? So this here, that would be the source, which would be the internet for the population of Dominica, and the method for finding this out would be browsing the internet. You could also use research books for this. So the method would have been reading. Right, students? So the second one is favorite sports team of students in your class. So you want to find out who likes Man U, who likes Chelsea, and all the different sports teams, who like West Indies, maybe they're cricket fans, right? And you want to find out their favorite sports team. How can you do this, right? So methods. A method for this, the best method for this would be a survey, or you could hand out a questionnaire to ask them. But a survey would have been the best thing. And you could do this by finding out from them, okay, what is your favorite football team through your survey. And you can also find out information, or your sources of information can be the people around you. Obviously these are the people who you would be finding out the information from. So the best method for this would be a survey. And we have the third one, which would be interest rates. Remember, this is supposed to be interest rates, it's a typographical error, of local banks in Dominica on mortgages. How are you going to find out this information? What is your method of finding out the information for this? Okay, so if I was doing some research on this, my source of information would have to be very, very accurate. So I would ask experts in this specific area. So I'd go to the banks, I'd go to the credit unions, I would find out, okay, what is your interest rate on mortgages in Dominica, right? So this would have been the best source for this. And your method would be asking questions. Okay, students? So we have went through this. We have identified our possible source, and we've also identified some methods in which we could do this. So this was our midway activity as to what we have covered so far. So we have covered the sources, we have covered the methods, and everything else. But there is something extremely important when we have all this information. If we want just one number to represent all the information that we found out, how can we do this? And this is where we come to the topic of measures of central tendency. Now, a measure of central tendency is a single value that attempts to describe a set of data. There are different types of measures of central tendency in statistics. We have the mean, we have the mode, we have the median, and we also have something called the range as well. Mean, mode, median. Easy way to remember, I always tell my students, mean is the average, mode is the most popular or the most frequent, and median would be middle. Okay? So mean, mode, and median. Now, what is the mean? The mean is the average of a set of numbers. And how we do this, or the formula for this, you add all the values and you divide by the total number of values. For example, you want to find out the mean of this data set. You have the number 15, 20, 25, 30, and 35. What you do, you add all of this up together. So you say 15 plus 20 plus 25 plus 30 plus 35, and you divide that by 5, the answer you get, and you get 25. Right, students? So when we add 15 plus 20 plus 25 plus 30 plus 35, we will get 125 as our answer. And this answer, we divided by the total number of values, and we had 5 values here. So when we divide 125 into 5, we get 25. So that means the mean of these value set, or the values or the data set that we got here, would be 25. So that number actually represents that entire data set. It is the average of the numbers. Just imagine that you got 3 tests and your first grade was 90%, right, students? So your first grade was 90%. Then the second grade, you didn't do as well. So you got 72%. Then you got your third grade. You say, okay, I need to work harder. So this time you got 100%. Now these are your grades for the term: 90, 72, and 100%. And your teacher wants to present to your parents your average for the term. Now that one number, which is your average, would actually represent how well you are doing in school. So we have our three values in that data set. We have 90%, we have 72%, and we have 100%. When we add these three numbers together, we get 262. Now we had three values. We are going to take that answer of 262 and we're going to divide it by 3, and your average for the term would have been 87.3%. So you see how easy that is? Very easy. So you yourself, if you want to find out your average, you could actually keep tabs on your grades for the term and you can find out your average. But some things are weighted differently, so it might be just a little different. But if you really want to practice this and incorporate this into your daily life, this is how you can do this. Okay? So the next one would be mode. Remember, mean is the average number and mode is the most frequent number. So the definition for mode is the value that appears most frequently in a set of data. And I have provided an example here for you. So you have this data set and you were asked to find the mode. Remember, the mode is the value that appears most frequently. So they gave us the numbers 10, 15, 20, 15, 25, 30. Now you look through the numbers, and it is always wise to arrange your numbers from the highest to the lowest, especially when it comes to your median. That's the first thing you need to do. Arrange your numbers from the highest to the lowest. So we look through, we see 10 ones, 15 ones, 20 ones. We see 15 again, so that means 15 is there twice, 25 is only there one time, and 30 is there one time. So that means the most frequent number of value in that data set would be 15. See how easy that is, students? So easy that I could close my eyes, and I'm sure that you could also close your eyes and see the mode in any set of data that you are provided in. So remember, for the mean, just to recap, you add all of the numbers together. Make sure you add them properly. You add all the numbers together and you get your answer. Then when you get your answer, you divide it by the amount of numbers that they gave you. So how many numbers you added up, that's what you're going to divide it by. So if it's 3 numbers you added up, you're going to divide it by 3. If it's 5, you divide by 5. And the answer you get would be your average or your mean. For mode, it's very simple. You simply look out for the number that appears the most in the value set. So you look out for the number that appears the most in the value set, and in this one, it would have been 15. Moving on to our median. Your median is the middle value when the data is arranged in numerical order. Always remember, you arrange it first in numerical order. So for example, if they give you 50, 40, 30, 20, 10, you need to arrange it from the smallest to the biggest. So you say 20, you say 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and then you look out for what is your median. So an easy way to do it is to ensure that you have the same amount of numbers on the left and the exact amount on the right. So in this value set, we have 5 of them. We have 10, we have 20, we have 30, we have 40, and we have 50. So 2 numbers to the right, 2 numbers to the left, the number exactly in the middle would be 30. Now, what if I had a data set with an even amount of numbers? How do I find the median? It is very, very easy. What you do, for example, if you had 10, 20, 30, 32, 40, 50, what you do is that you add the two middle values. So here, or in the example that I just gave, the two middle values would be 30 and 32. Now, you see that mean we did just a while ago? It's going to come back again. So you say 30 plus 32, because remember, these are your two middle values. You add them up together. Now, when we add 30 and 32, the number we get is 62. For us to find the middle value of this, we divide it by 2, and the median would be 31. So remember, anytime that's supposed to be even, that's another typographical error. So anytime you have an even amount of numbers, what you simply do, you select the two middle values and you divide by 2 to get the median. Simple, simple, simple as that for mean, mode, and median. Now, the next one is range. Range is a little advanced, but it's also a very simple concept. So I'm like, I should include this in this video. What is the range, you might ask? The range in mathematics is the difference between the largest and the smallest values in a data set. It provides a measure of the spread of variation within the data set. You don't even have to worry about all these big numbers. All you need to know, the range is the difference between the largest and the smallest numbers or the smallest values in a data set. So for example, in this one, the largest value would have been 50 and the smallest value would have been 10. If we want to find out what is the range of this data set, we simply say 50, which is the largest value, minus 10, which is the smallest value, and that would give us 40. And that, my students, is the range. The difference between the largest and the smallest value in a data set. Simple, simple, simple. And here I have provided some examples that you could read through. The formula range is the maximum value minus the minimum value. And you have a practice example here, which you could do on your own to find out the answer for this. And here we have the working. So if you have worked it out, here is the working. So find the maximum value. So all you have to do is just pause the video and then you work it out and then you come back to see if you got it correctly. Okay? So you're working, you find the maximum value, and in the data set, the maximum value here was 22. Remember, you arrange it in numerical order first, so smallest number to the biggest number. So the maximum value was 22 and the minimum value in the data set is 10, right? So we say maximum value subtracted from minimum value, and 22 subtracted from 10 is 12. So the range of scores in the math quiz, right? The range of scores, that was the scores of the students in a math quiz, the range would have been 12. So maximum value was 22, our minimum value was 10. So what we simply did, we said 22 from 10 and we got 12. So easy. So we have done a lot. It's now time to practice. Now what you have to do is to work this out, and what you do is that you simply press pause, and once you got your answer, you can start the video again and then you can see if you got it right. Okay, so you're going to calculate the mean of the following set of numbers: 15, 20, 25, 30, 45. So pause the video now, and then when you got the answer, you're going to come back to see if you got it correctly. So let's see the answer. We have the answer. So to get the mean of this data set, we added 15 plus 20 plus 25 plus 30 plus 35. So I'm going to work this out. 15 plus 20 plus 25 plus 30 plus 35, and I got 125. And when I divided 125 by 5, I got 25. So the mean of this value set would have been 25. How about some practice for the mode? So don't forget, you work it out, you pause the video, you work it out, and when you got your answer, you start the video again. Okay? Let's go into mode. So you're going to find the mode in the data set: 10, 15, 20, 15, 25, 30. Pause the video. When you get the mode, well, you don't even have to pause it. You can almost identify it at once, right? So we know for this one, the mode would have been 15. All right, so the mode would have been 15. Now I'm going to challenge you a bit. I know sometimes fractions give students a bit of a heartache, a bit of a hard time as well, okay? So for this one, what you're going to do is that you're going to add it up, right? You're going to add up all the fractions, and if you're a math whiz, you know exactly how you add your fractions, or a simpler way to do it if these are marks on tests, right? So if you got 15 and 20 on a test, what grade do you have? If you got 14 on 20 on a test, what grade do you have? If you got 17 on 20 on a test, what grade do you have? And the trick I am going to give you, or the tip I should say I'm going to give you, is that you're going to change this fraction into a percentage by multiplying it by 100. Remember, anytime you want to change a fraction to a percentage, you multiply it by 100. Okay? So the question is, if you get the following marks for free math tests, what is your mean test mark? So pause this video. Pause it, take as much time as you need to work it out. Let's remember we're working that brain muscle, right? We're working that brain muscle to ensure that we're ready for any question that comes our way in the grade 6 national assessment mathematics exam. So you're going to turn 15 on 20 into a percentage mark, 14 on 20, and 17 on 20. So I'm guessing you're now finished with your working. Now, here is the steps that you should have taken to get the correct answer. To find the mean test mark, what you needed to do is to add up the free test scores and then divide by the total number of tests. But remember, I told you that you need to do something first, right? You had to change them into decimals, or if you wanted to change them into percentages, whichever one, it would have almost been the same anyway. So what we do is that we we find the decimal equivalent of the fractions, and then we divided the numerator by the denominator, right? So we say 15 divided by 20 and we got 0.75, and in percentage that would have been 75%. We divided 14 into 20 and we got 0.70, and in percentage that would have been 70%. We divided 17 into 20 and we got 0.85, and in percentage that would have been 85%. Now we're going to step 2. We're going to find the mean. Now you add up these decimal equivalents and you divide by the number of tests, and that we did 3 tests in this case, right? So we say 0.75 plus 0.70, 70%, plus 0.85 or 85% divided by 3, and we got 2.30. If you're using percentage, then you would have got 230%. So 2.30 divided by 3, that would have been approximately 0.77, or if you did it using percentages, it would have been 77%, right? So if you're using the decimal, what you're going to do is that you convert the mean to a percentage by multiplying by 100. So you say 0.77 by 100, and the mean percentage would have been 77%. So you see how easy that was? So just from these fractions, just from these grades, these test marks, we could find out what was the mean percentage of whatever that student grades were. And we got 77%, right? How about we do some arranging? Because I know sometimes some students have a little bit of, sometimes they don't really get it correctly in terms of arranging numbers in numerical order. Remember, for this, you do it from the smallest to the biggest. So you have this data set, you have 18, 22, 15, 27, 30, 12, and you want to arrange this in numerical order, you simply start with the smallest, then you go on until you get to the biggest number. And if you got this as your answer, remember to pause the video, do it on your book, do it on your paper, right? Now, if you got this for your answer, then you are very correct. So you deserve a round of applause. That means you're listening. You're actually taking notes in this video, right? So if you have 12, 15, 18, 22, 27, and 30 as your answer, then you are very, very correct. All right, students? So the next one we're going to move into is the median. So we're going to practice finding the median. And remember what you do. if it's an even number of data that you're provided with, the two middle values you add them up and then you divide by 2. If it's an odd data set, what you simply do, you ensure that the same amount of numbers on the right, same amount of numbers on the left, whatever is in the middle, that would be your median. So work this out, pause this video, and find out what is the median. So you have 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, right? What is the median for this? I also want you to find the range as well. Remember the range, you simply minus the biggest value or the maximum value from the minimum value and tell me what number you get. So if you got this is supposed to be range. I was going through interquartile range and it did not get edited, so it's supposed to be range. So your median was supposed to be 20 because remember your middle value was 20. So we had two numbers to the left, two numbers to the right, and the number in the middle would have been 20. And the range, our largest value was 30 and our smallest value was 10. So 30 minus 10, that should actually be 20. We're all human, we all make mistakes. So 30 minus 10, that should have been 20. So that means the median score in this would have been 20. So that is the middle value. And the range, remember it's range, so the maximum value minus the minimum value, so 30 minus 10, that would have been 20. So we have come to the end of this video where we did data handling and statistics. And remember, this is part 1 of the video. In part 2, we'll be going into interpreting and also learning how to do your graphical representations. So just in case you're watching this video and you're interested in grade 6 national assessment classes, I am Miss Mills. I am a geography, literature, and English high school teacher, and I am also the owner of ACE Academics, and I teach grade 6 classes online. And our classes are also available face-to-face as well. So if you're from Dominica, you're watching this video for grade 6 students, or a student watching this video, you can let your mommy, you can let your daddy know that we offer classes for grade 6. We do it both online and face-to-face. So just to find out more, just to learn more, every Saturday we do something interesting. We learn, we have fun. Our classes are always educative, entertaining, and we ensure that the students are getting the information that they need while they're having fun. So if you want to register, you simply WhatsApp 1767-225-1128 and you register now to ensure that your son or your daughter can get that scholarship or even that island scholarship at the grade 6 national assessment. So thank you very much for tuning in and watching a video from ACE Academics, a modern approach to Caribbean education. Ensure you like, you subscribe, you turn on that notification bell, you share this video, and tell everyone about ACE Academics. This will be the first of our series of videos for our grade 6 students, just to ensure that they have the information and the resources that they need right at their fingertip. So bye, and we'll see you in part 2 of this video on statistics and data handling.